Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lamone, and this is my review for One Battle After Another. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share, leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on One Battle After Another, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, I was looking forward to this one. I am a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, as I'm sure most of you are as well. And, Leonardo DiCaprio always brings it when he is performing. And, the trailers looked really good. I would say I probably wasn't as excited as many other people for this film. But, I had a lot of trust in it that it was going to be a good time. And I thought, yeah, this might be an Oscar contender when we get into Oscar season. And sure enough, all of that is true. I would be very shocked to see if this movie wasn't nominated for Best Picture when we do get to that Oscar ceremony, because this is a lot of fun and a very, very good movie with amazing performances all the way from top to bottom. No matter how much screen time that you got within this film, every actor really brings it, especially the young girl Chase Infidali. I don't know how to say her last name, but I think she has a very promising career. I would say, she doesn't have a lot of lines to really speak. She has lines in the film, but I think what is really captivating about her is about how she's able to communicate with not talking at all. How, she's able to show this lack of trust, but also trust, and like this fire that's really building inside of her when she is not talking. Again, to me, is very, very captivating in it. I really think this movie picks up when we get to the second act. Not to say the first act is bad. I actually think the opening of this film is very, very riveting. And there's also a car chase scene in the first act as well, because this movie is a tale of thirds in a lot of ways, because it is just about 3 hours long, 2 hours and 45 minutes, I believe. In that whole first hour, again, amazing opening sequence, quite a bit. Opening. Great opening scene as I am trying to figure out how to speak proper English. And then there is a car chase scene that has no music that, again, is very, very riveting. I don't know, just for something about the first act was really not lacking. That's a bad word, because I was very entertained throughout the whole entire film, especially within the first act. It was just, once the chase actually begins, what is advertised in the trailer is that, the government is chasing after Leonardo DiCaprio and his daughter. That's when, to me, the movie just kind of clicked and it leveled up to a whole other level. And, you're getting Benicio del Toro involved and all these other players, and everything started to come full circle. I don't know if maybe it was the tone, because this movie is very funny. And there is a little bit of comedic tone throughout, this upbeat, I don't want to say Marvel-like tone, because I know that kind of turns people off a little bit. But again, it's just, yes, there's very serious things, and when it's time to get serious about it, it does lock in quite a bit. But I would say overall, again, if I had to pick a leading genre within this, I would say comedy, and Leonardo DiCaprio is a big part of that. This, to me, is his funniest performance since Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, easily. I think he might be funnier in this movie than he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The scene where I think the movie really does level up is my favorite scene in the movie, and it's the scene that you see in the trailer when he's having the conversation with his daughter at the table, and then her friends come up and he's going okay, no, who are these people? He's just a super paranoid person about everything. And then, they're having the whole conversation about is that he or she or they or them. Again, everything that he's going on about this conversation is just so very funny, especially when you see the extended part of it. Again, I was hysterically laughing. I also think Sean Penn was pretty good in this movie. He is the villain, if you say, he's being billed as the villain in the marketing. So yeah, we'll go with that. There is a lot more to him than meets the eye, but I will also say he is a great foil. He's a great just someone to laugh at as well. You don't really have a lot of respect for this character, which is a very tough job to do when you're the main villain of the film and no one watching you is going to respect you or really be feared by you, because you're kind of pathetic all the way through, and it's very funny to watch. But Sean Penn is just able to find this level where, again, you're still very endeared to him in a way, for a lack of a better word. Yeah, and again, once we get to that second act and we start to go on this chase, and we understand where everyone's coming from, and the tone's completely locked in, you're settled into it. You kind of did a little shift because you kind of expected it to go in one way within the tone, but now you're just come to the reality of the second of the tone that is actually being presented. Boy, this movie's just a really fun ride all the way through. I mean, I laughed a lot, I went ooh a lot, because there is some visceral action in it, and it all leads up to a third act that to me is very, very fun. And a lot of very smart choices are made. I mean, there's this scene with hills where they use with the camera, where it's kind of like a POV shot in a lot of ways. And how that is communicated to the final blows, and I get to see how smart some characters are. Oh man, it was such a great scene. Like when the execution of showing the hills, I was like, man, this is really good. I wonder where this is leading. And then when you see where it was leading up to, I was like, that was so freaking smart, although I didn't say freaking, and like I almost wanted to clap when that execution happened within the film. The final scene, however, I didn't fully love, because we spent some time with these characters, and the ending is to show, hey, this character is going to do something. Again, I'm not trying to do any spoilers here, and he's going to live a life and do this. And I'm just going, I don't know if we necessarily earned that, because yes, like paying attention to this character, like very outspoken and all these different things, but never was I ever thinking, oh, this person wants to do this, and this was just the final nail in the coffin to lead them to do this said thing. And I just would have liked a little bit more time within that. Again, I've said this many times before in movies. I've sat through 90-minute films that felt like 3 hours. I've sat through 3-hour films that felt like 90 minutes. Now, I don't think this movie necessarily felt like 90 minutes, but it definitely didn't feel like 3 hours. For the most part, I do feel like the time really flew by. And I wouldn't have minded if this did go the extra 15 minutes to get to 3 hours, just to expand some of those things within the character development. So that way when we do get to that final moment, because in a way I do kind of feel like, yeah, that probably was the right choice to make for the ending. It just didn't really have the impact on me that I think the movie intended for me to have, where again, if I think we had 15 minutes just to spend some time with that character, or hell, even 5 minutes, there's a lot you can do within 5 that we could have used to really elevate that choice and to really have a bit like an F yeah moment, as opposed to, oh well, I guess that's kind of nice. That's just kind of how I felt about it. So yeah, a tale of thirds for me. First act, entertaining, lots of great stuff within it, but definitely out of 3 acts, definitely the weakest to me. The second act, when the chase starts to begin, once there's the first conversation between the daughter and the dad, when they're having at that dinner table that you see at the in the trailer, and moving on, boy, the movie levels up. It's my favorite part of the whole entire film. The dinner scene, the table scene, I should say, is probably my favorite out of the whole entire film. But man, there is a lot of great stuff that is happening. That's just a laugh right that keeps you locked in all the way through within the second act. And the third act is built up to a great crescendo as well. But then again, once you get to those final 10, maybe not 10, yeah, maybe 10 minutes, because there's another element that gets added where I feel like, hey, we wrapped it up and this probably should have been the ending for this certain character, but nope, we're not done with this character yet. And it just kind of felt tagged on in a lot of ways to me. So yeah, the last 10 to 15 minutes to me are, not great. I think is probably not my least favorite part, because again, it's still very engaging, but it is like 2 and then maybe 3 up until the last 15 minutes, and then act 1 finishing off at the bottom. But again, great stuff all the way through. It just happens, something has to be third out of the 3 acts if you're going to rank them. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this movie down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. We are starting to get into that time where we're having some great movies coming out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, as we will be talking about them. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you also squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.